Hi, and welcome back to My Kitchen with Jake. I'm your host, Chef Jake Osborne, and we're hanging out here in beautiful Chelsea, Michigan at the Agricole Farm Stop Kitchen with two of my very best friends, Miss Laura Nesbitt from the Michigan Restaurant and Lodging Association Education Foundation, now the MHF, Michigan Hospitality Foundation.
That's correct.
And our buddy, Mr. Marty.
Hello.
Marty comes from Busy Hands Studios, which is a Jackson-based company that supplies art supplies. It's artisanal art supplies, including you, right? That's your birthplace.
Yep.
So we have you on the show today, kind of like our little feral animal. You're going to be our youth. So this class is focused on, or this episode is focused on youth education on food safety. So if you're at home and you have young ones and you're going to be cooking with them, these are some of the things you're going to want to be thinking about. So today we're going to make two sandwiches, okay? One's going to be made by Laura, and it's going to be clean and sanitary and delicious.
Yum.
The other's going to be made by Chef Jake, and mine's not going to be so delicious. Mine's going to be germicidal grotesqueness. I'm going to not wash my hands, I'm not going to wash the counter, I'm not going to wash my knife, and we're going to see just how contaminated it can get. Does that sound like fun?
Yeah, this sounds disgusting.
I know!
Exciting.
It is exciting. So let's go ahead and you wash your hands. It feels wrong to me, but I'm not going to wash my hands.
All right, what kind of sandwich would you like to have today?
Oh, well, how about a grilled cheese?
Grilled cheese is good.
I like grilled cheese.
Yeah.
You like grilled cheese?
You like mozzarella?
Oh, I love mozzarella.
Do you like tomatoes?
I love tomatoes.
How about basil?
I love basil.
Did you know that Michigan grows more herbs than almost any other state?
I had no idea.
I didn't know that either. But
Really?
it's a great
Is
way
that
to.
true?
It's true, yeah.
It's true.
We grow more mint by
Yeah.
pound than any other state. Isn't that amazing?
That's so amazing.
I know. But basil, it's not seasonal right now. So I picked this one up over at the Mayer, and it's potted, but
Okay.
it's still going to be delicious. Wait till June, July, and I'll have my basil for you, okay?
Okay.
So, okay, you're going to wash
Yep.
hands. I'm not
you're gonna
because
wash your
I'm
hands.
gross. But I'm going to grab our groceries, and I'm going to throw those on our counter, okay?
Oh, man.
Isn't he
This is the thing.
Okay, so I'm making a big no-no. I am setting our groceries directly on the counter.
Oh, no, I do that all the time.
Do you do it with your backpack too when you get home from
Yes,
school?
I do.
Yeah, so that's a really big no-no because wherever my bag has been, this bag went with me to the grocery store and it rode down the conveyor belt. It went into that gross shopping cart.
Yeah.
It's been kind of everywhere. So the
Okay.
bottom of my bag, I am confident, is full of germs. So,
And what about Marty being on the counter? Or your cat,
or your cat.
all right?
Yeah,
so
you have to
those
think
are
about
things
it.
you need to think about too, because nobody wants to eat cat hair or Marty hair for that matter, right?
Well, it blends in with the basil.
There you go. It's a chiffonade.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when I'm done doing this, typically you wash your countertop. For our example, because I'm going to make a germ sandwich, I'm not going to clean the counter after I take my bag off.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and start unpacking these items, and Laura's going to wash the items she's going to use, and I'm not, because I'm gross.
All right. So, one of the things you really want to think about when you bring home something like tomatoes, especially something that's not bagged up already, is when you pull this off the counter, what's on it? This one has been sprayed, so it's got a little water on it, but what else does it have on it? Does it have germs? Does it have that kid who touched it? Does it have that person who sneezed on it? We want to make sure we get this washed, right? Same with things like cucumbers, right? It looks like it's clean, but is it really? And that is the big conversation you want to have. Is it really clean, or did it just get wet? Because a lot of grocery stores have that little spray that keeps it nice and fresh.
Yeah, the little thunderstorm
Right,
maker.
but
Yeah.
you really want to make sure that these are clean, and of course pesticides is a big conversation.
Absolutely,
So
yeah.
making
We're all
sure
going to be
they're
gardening
washed.
this summer. You're a huge gardener. I'm a huge
Yep.
gardener.
I'm a small gardener.
A small gardener?
Yeah.
You're not that big, but do
No,
you
I'm
like
not
to
that-
garden a lot?
I love to garden. I have these claws that are very helpful.
Yeah, you dig in.
Yes.
Yeah,
I bet they hold a lot of dirt in the end too, don't they?
they really do.
I
They
believe
really
it.
do.
So when you get home, you always make sure that when you bring your farm goods, your harvest for the day
Uh-huh.
inside,
Uh-huh.
always make sure you clean your claws.
Okay.
And when you clean your claws, you're gonna want to push your fingers together.
Okay.
Really make sure you're getting those germs out.
Yeah.
Laura took about 20 seconds to wash her hands, which is about the length of a happy birthday.
Right.
Or if you
It's
went
your
through your
birthday?
alphabet.
No, not today, but thank you.
Okay.
So
It's the length of the song that matters.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you're practicing your ABCs, it's a really good time to practice those while you wash your claws, and then you'll be clean.
Okay.
And then really wash your hands. It isn't just this. You
It's
do
really not.
need to get in here, and then the back of your hands.
Around your
Right?
nails.
Yeah, and that's, I do a lot of gardening, so my nails frequently aren't so clean and sanitary.
Yep.
So making sure you're not adding a little something extra to the food.
Well, and I'm never using
Well,
any.
if you pet the cat or dog,
Yeah. True.
that's another issue.
And you've got pesticides. I don't use any harmful pesticides in my garden, but when I'm buying stuff from other farms, I'm never sure where it's been and what they've fertilized with, what they've sprayed on it. If it's a rutabaga, it could have wax on it, but
Right.
with this, it could have E. coli. Do you know what E. coli is, Marty?
No, I don't know what E. coli is.
Okay, E. coli comes from poop.
Oh.
I know. So if you didn't wash this, it could have poop germs.
Gross.
I know, disgusting. And poop germs are really good at traveling, and they can really get people sick, like incredibly sick.
Yes.
So you're not going to be eating my germ sandwich today, okay?
Oh, okay.
So
Sure.
I've got tomatoes on mine. Do you want there to be mozzarella cheese on it too?
Yes, please.
Okay.
All right.
How can you make the germs on the mozzarella germier?
Make them germier?
Yes.
Well, I think I could probably spread it around with some of my poop germs because I touched the cucumber.
And again, where's your knife bed?
That's
so
true.
if I'm going to cut this up and you're going to use it, I don't want mine contaminated. So I want to make sure I'm using a clean knife on a clean board before I cut it up, because I'm going to give you a little bit of this, right?
Thank
to use on
you.
your sandwich.
A nice germ
That's so
sandwich.
nice.
It's going to be delish.
This one's nice because it's already cut up, which is lovely, so you don't have to use a knife. I want to add a tomato to mine also, and I have a couple of choices. So I can use a red tomato, or I can use the yellow tomatoes. So a lot of these are heirloom tomatoes, and they're a little lower acid, which is nice.
It is
right?
nice.
Yeah, so I can use this, and it's really, really colorful.
The one thing to think about them though is with all of the grooves. Do you see those, Marty?
And you just
Oh,
touch that with
I
your
did.
dirty hands.
Oh my goodness.
Don't put that
So
on my cutting
all
board.
of those grooves can end up with germs in them, or end up with bugs, or E. coli, or pesticides,
Right.
whatever. So you really have to take extra care when you're cleaning those.
That's disgusting.
Super disgusting.
Now-
But I mean, it's part of it. It's
It
part of
is.
nature.
We want to use a little basil on our sandwiches too, which is really, really nice. If you haven't tried it, definitely do. Definitely want to wash this. Oh boy, that smells so good.
Does it smell like summertime?
Now, one of the things I do at home is I wash these in a salad spinner, and that way I can spin it out and get the water off of it too. 'Cause
That's smart.
adding water to your sandwich might not be your best bet, but fresh basil, oh, it smells so good. And of course, in about a month or so, everybody's gonna have basil in their gardens.
Yeah. My mom, she's a flower farmer down in the Drome area. And she is growing so many different types of basil right now. She's got cinnamon and lemon.
Wow.
They're all completely different. My nephews, Jackson and Waylon, absolutely love it. They get frolicking through there. It's pretty cool. Lots of
amazing.
flowers. It's a good time.
And right now, buying them at the store where they're in the dirt means you can actually, as soon as it's no longer snowing,
Yeah.
you can put it outside.
Would
I'm
you
not
need some
sure
more of it
that's
too? I think Marty and I would like more basil.
Would you like more basil?
Please.
Yes,
You
please.
just
Contaminated
wanna smell.
basil.
You smell that, Marty.
Oh. Ah, that smells so good.
Isn't that
it?
delightful?
That's so good.
It is
Do you like
a wonderful
pesto?
thing.
Yes, I love pesto.
Did you know pesto's full of nuts?
I had no idea.
Yep,
I
they're
thought
called
that was just
pine
you.
nuts. No.
Pine nuts?
Pine
like
nuts.
pine cones?
Kind of like, but they're like little pelletized little nut things.
They're the seeds
Yeah, it's a
from them,
seed.
but you can also make pesto with walnuts or cashews.
Oh
Well,
my
and the
goodness.
thing that's interesting about them is they're an allergen. Do you have any friends that have allergies, Marty?
Yes.
What kind of allergies do they have?
Well, they have allergies to trees, they have allergies to bees, they have allergies to nuts.
You do have
Oh,
some nut
nuts.
allergy friends?
Oh my goodness, I do.
Oh, well, you've got to take extra care when you're doing things with nuts too, so that if you're making sandwiches for you and your friends, you know that you're not contaminating them. Because even though it's not something that's got germs in it, it can still harm them.
Oh my goodness.
So when
Never
you're
even
doing,
thought about that.
I know, who'd have thunk, right? And something that could happen is their throat could swell, they could get hives, and then they might need to go to the hospital. So
Yikes.
definitely something to know about. We're going to talk more about that here in just a second, okay, Marty? But we're going to take a quick break when My Kitchen with Jake continues.
Okay, why don't I take this and why don't you put
Okay.
the chicken in the fridge?
I'll do that.
And chicken always goes, raw chicken always goes in the very bottom of your refrigerator.
And why is that,
Okay.
Laura?
Oh, well, there's a little issue with cross-contamination.
And gravity loves it,
You
doesn't
really
it?
want to think about bloody chicken, and if it drips
Mm-hmm.
on your other food, then that's going to be a real issue.
My Michigan TV is streaming everywhere on Apple TV, Roku, Fire TV, and more smart TV apps. My Michigan TV is on your phone too. Take us with you wherever you go. Just search for My Michigan TV on your favorite app store or visit mymitv.com. All Michigan, streaming everywhere. My Michigan TV.
Welcome back to My Kitchen with Jake. I'm your host, Chef Jake Osborne, and I'm here today with my friends, Miss Laura Nesbitt and Mr. Marty.
Hi.
Laura is from one of our sponsors areas. She's from the Michigan Restaurant and Lodging Association Education Foundation, now the Michigan Hospitality Foundation. She also played a huge part in putting together the MichiganFoodSafety.com website, which is another one of our sponsors.
Wow.
And then Mr. Marty is also a sponsor today, coming from Busy Hands Studios, found at busyhandstudios.com in Jackson. And you guys make art supplies, right?
Yes, we do.
And you count as one of those art supplies.
Yes, I do.
Yep, that's your birthplace.
Uh-huh.
So if you're interested in any of our sponsors, please check them out. Today, we're making 2 sandwiches. One's a germ sandwich, one's not. So I think I'm about finished up with mine. I'm gonna go ahead and put the top bread on. And I wanna grill mine, but before we do that, I may have done a little surprise to show Marty just how many germs are actually in our sandwich.
I love surprises.
This is a big surprise. So I used what's called a bioluminescent germicide. So it's a germ powder, it's non-toxic, but you can buy it on Amazon or anywhere else. It's called Glow Germ. And I can shine a black light on this and see just how contaminated it is. So I'm gonna give Miss Laura the black light and I'm gonna hit the lights,
lucky
okay?
you. You got the honors.
Ready? In 3, 2, 1.
Wow.
So you can see
Oh
that
my
my
goodness.
hands are contaminated. The sandwich is an absolute disaster area.
Some of it is in the shape of your hands.
It is in the shape of my hands.
Oh.
And it's everywhere. There's some of it inside of the mozzarella, it's in the tomatoes, it's all over in the chiffonade basil that you asked for. So I think that if you ate this, you would be at a pretty high risk, don't you, Laura?
That's kind of the big problem, is most people don't think about what they're adding to their sandwich,
Yep.
right? And it can be something simple, like you stuck the dirty knife into the mayonnaise and then you wondered why there's pink slime in the mayonnaise. So you really do want to wash the counter, wash
Yep.
your hands, wash your product so that this doesn't happen.
Well, and this happened just from our bag. I
Right.
put that contamination on the bottom of our shopping bag, and when we brought that in, we set it in this location. I touched the handles, which were also contaminated, and
Yes.
contaminated.
Yeah,
Oh.
it really is a big conversation that you need to have, especially if you're cooking for somebody else, right?
Yeah.
If you're cooking for grandma or your little sister, we want to make sure we don't get them sick either. Because a lot of times it's just a sandwich. But is it just a sandwich, right?
Well, and those groups, older groups and some younger groups, we call those at risk. And that's because maybe your immune system's not developed yet, or maybe you have something going on that affects your immune system. Just a few years ago, my grandma was going through chemotherapy and had a reduced immune system. And we had to be really thoughtful about how we took the things from the farm and how we used them.
Right.
She loved peaches and strawberries. And the only way to ensure that she was safe from those pathogens was to ensure that it reached 165 degrees or 145 degrees, whatever the proper cooking temperature was for that food item, every single time.
Yeah.
Because your risk is, I mean, it's huge. One little glowing particle could infect your whole body.
And because you don't normally heat a sandwich, obviously if I did that grilled cheese, and I like grilled cheese with tomatoes, right? That can be a problem. And tomatoes are what we call a TCS food, which is time and temperature controlled for safety. So after you wash that tomato and cut that tomato, you want to refrigerate any leftovers so that pathogens don't grow in there.
Well, and on a scientific level, those pathogens are still existing, right?
Yeah.
That's the refrigeration, just like we are in the winter. It slows us down. So rather than those pathogens producing and making more, we're keeping them cold and we're keeping them at a slow state, kind of like molasses.
Or sloth-like.
Or sloth-like.
I'm a sloth.
Is that what you are?
Yeah.
You know, I kind of was like, I might have gotten some Munster cheese because I didn't know if you were a Munster.
Uh-oh.
I didn't
'Cause
know.
I'm green.
It's because
I'm
you're green. Yeah. It must be the rainforest algae does
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think monsters want to eat Munster cheese.
Well, I didn't know. I figured it'd be rather
Hey,
be safe than
you might
sorry.
as well 50-50, right?
It was a shot, right? Well, okay, so I think now we're at the spot where we can go ahead and clean up, and then we're going to be back in just a little bit when we make smoothies with Marty.
Oh, yum.
Do you like smoothies?
I love smoothies.
I do too. We might also have to do a little bit of math, so get prepared to do some math, okay?
Math for a smoothie?
I know, math for a smoothie, but it's good math. It's simple math, and it's delicious math.
Oh, yum.
So
Can't
we'll
wait.
be right back when My Kitchen with Jake continues.